I know you're my friend, but I love my family too, and my brother. Are you sure you can't come out and live with us? Okay, but just for a little bit, until my mom is back.
Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, wherever you are in the world. My name is Ace, and welcome into a revamped 2.0, if you can call it that, Game Nation channel. That's right. As you can hear, I'm doing commentary now. Who would have thought that? Well, it's also a new beginning for me, so I hope you bear with me. I hope you still stick around. As you've probably noticed, all of my videos have been deleted. The reason for that is simply because YouTube has blocked almost 90% of all my videos, especially all the older ones. And the reason for that is simply because I made an error of my part. And yeah, my upload template supposedly have a checkbox marked, which it shouldn't. And that basically did so my videos was catered to another audience, which isn't good, and YouTube has apparently trying to get hold of me over the past couple of months now, almost 3 months now, stating that I didn't uphold to the guidelines. Well, that is definitely a bummer. So yeah, that's basically why. I hope you bear with me, I hope you still stick around, and I hope you still stay subscribed to the channel. Focusing on and help me focusing on getting a somewhat newer channel up and running, at least for me. And yeah, let's hope we can have a good time playing some games together. So what will I be focusing on this brand new channel, you're wondering? Well, I won't be changing anything. I still will be focusing on, well, at least the primary focus will still be casual game in general, especially these hidden object puzzle adventures, simply because I like to play them. They aren't that long, and they fit perfectly within my time frame. I do have a day job, so this is basically a hobby for me. So I don't have a lot of hours in the day to do these. So these types of games are basically a perfect type of genre to try and keep up on the channel. So no new changes there. I still want to try out some AAA games and stuff like that. I might even go live at some point. I haven't really decided yet, but I do have a game out in the future, which is an MMO and still in development. So I might take a look at that in a live version as well at that point, but more on that later. I might also go back and play some old games, because I am a casual guy and I'm not a young man anymore, so I have played a lot of old games in my youth, which I still find funny to play now and then, and I might do those as well. You never know. Many of the games are becoming remastered or remade at in these years, so we might take a look at those instead. Sorry about that. So that was basically the info for the channel, and a little background as to why my videos has been deleted. I do hope you bear with me. As you can probably hear, English isn't my primary language, so do bear with me if I say some funny words or some sentences here and there. Just laugh at it. I do, at least inside my head, when that happens. And I have the occasionally habit of biting my tongue when that happens. I just need to take it nice and slow. I figured that out. If I talk too fast, that is the reason why I sometimes stutters in the words. And so yeah, that might be the case as to why I'm sounding like some kind of slow turd sometimes. But that is basically it. I do hope I can learn by doing this, and hopefully get better at it. So, what do I have for you today? Since this is the very first revamped playthrough, you can call it that, well, I do have a hidden object puzzle adventure for you. And what is a hidden object puzzle adventure, you're wondering? Well, that is a game genre which has been fused together by elements of point-and-click adventures with a narrative story, combined with hidden object scenes and puzzle elements here and there. The game genre has been around for roughly almost 20 years now. The very first, which is still considered to be the very first, at least if you Google it, back in 2005, Big Fish Games' own game studio developed and released a game called Mystery Case Files Huntsville, which was back then primarily a hidden object game, which were basically games where you just had various scenes where you have to find stuff scattered all over the place. And as you can imagine, back then the graphic wasn't exactly the up-to-date, and especially since these are indie games, graphics were as you would expect back then. So that could be quite hard to find items back then. But that was primarily the main genre back then. At some point in 2007, maybe 6, I can't quite remember, I started to get an interest into these games. And the reason is because I had a roommate at that time who were playing games from Big Fish Games, which was quite new at that point, and is still considered today as to be the largest game site that published these games. It also looks like they have an exclusive right to publish the games first. So that is my primary to-go-to site. You can also find games on iWin or Wild Tangent, or Steam has also started to publish games more and more frequently on their platform, so that's a good thing to see. But at some point, as I said, I got my interest in 2006, 2007 for roughly a half a year, so my primary games were hidden object games back then, and I still have them in my launcher. I was quite surprised that my account was still working. But after a couple, 5 or 6 months, I took a break again, and I haven't really visited the games since until now this year, when I actually stumble upon it and say, hey, I remember that. So I have a lot of games. Yeah, I was quite surprising to see that the games are still going, but at some point, I think in 2008, maybe 9, they started to transition over to hidden object puzzle adventures. It was kind of evolving over the years into what we see today. Hidden object games are still a thing. It looks like they kind of resurfaced within the last couple of years, which is quite interesting to see. And by the looks of it, there still is an interest in these games. Anyway, I will take a full-on description as to how the game works. Once we're inside, there will also be a tutorial, which we will click. I will do that for this game, and after that, I will just play the game as they are. There are a lot of developers. There has been a lot of developers. There aren't that many left. Something happened in 1920. It looks like many of the developers kind of disappeared, starting to focus on other game types or game genres or whatever happened. I don't know. But there's only a couple left, 4 or 5 to just count a few. But it looks like they might come in at various points throughout the years, or throughout a year. Smaller companies which releases a game or 2 each year. But there are 2 primary players, 4, sorry. Elephant Games, Domini Games, Grandma Studios, and Friendly Fox seems to be the 4 still going companies. Anyway, I think that was basically it. Oh my goodness, I'm not accustomed to talking that much, so I hope you bear with me. So what do I have for you? Well, I have a brand new series called A Haunting Novel, and the first game in the series is called Burton Hotel. Big Fish Games owns a lot of series, which have various titles under that series. I will call that out once that is the case. So in this case, a haunting novel is a Big Fish game title. As I stated before, Big Fish Games had their own studios, which they developed to begin with, their own games to begin with. But at some point, they started to outsource the game development to other developers. So that basically means they write and produce the game series, and then they have developers developing the game. But this particular game, as we're going to play today, is a Big Fish game title, and it is developed by a company called Elephant Games. So who is Elephant Games, you're wondering? Well, that is actually a good question, because I've actually used an entire weekend almost just to research all the different types of games there are, developers, and that there's a lot of games, believe me. I wouldn't be surprised if there was over 1,000 games if you combine both hidden object puzzle adventures and hidden object games in total. It's insane. Absolutely insane. But I use Big Fish Games as my primary game site. There is also iWin, as I mentioned before. At least when it comes to older games, iWin seems to have the best results in finding all the games, because it looks like Big Fish Games have deleted at least many of their old Hawk games from the early days. So I use iWin for that. But who are Elephant Games, you're wondering? Well, they have a lot of games under their sleeves. We can check out their More Games tab over here. And it looks like they're behind some series called Haunted Hotel. I haven't played these before. And also Paranormal Files, which is also kind of new to me. I haven't seen these before, but they have a lot of other series. One of their most well-known series is actually a series called Grim Tales, which is still going, but also a series called Mystery Trackers. I believe that was the two primary series they started with back then, when they started to enter in the scene, at least to my understanding. I could be wrong. You never know. But I haven't played these games, so I don't know them. So, but we'll definitely take a look into all the games as well. Don't worry. So this is the collector's edition. A collector's edition is a extra kind of bonus goodie bag for various stuff compared to the standard version. Let's take a look at the bonus content. So the difference between a standard and a collector's edition is that in the collector's edition we have an extra bonus chapter. 95% of all games have these in their collector's edition, but they also have collectibles which we can collect inside the game, so we need to pay attention to those if we want to complete the both of the tabs. But you can also revisit and play puzzles and hubs, and you also got achievements. I don't know what an expedition is. We'll take a look at that when we're done, and a bunch of all goodies. I don't know what you can do in a standard. I always choose collector's edition. They are also the ones that tends to be released first, and then the standard version roughly gets released a month later. So those will be the ones I will be picking. Anyway, I think I've rambled on for 10 minutes now. I'm surprised that my jaw hasn't fallen out. Anyway, let's just jump into the game, shall we? So is there anything else? No. As I stated before, this is my first time playing an elephant game. At least to my understanding. So I hope you brewed some tea and whatever you're fancy drinking. And then let's just jump right into the game, shall we? I will be playing on casual mode. You can choose other types of game modes as well. You can also custom make your own, but I will always be choosing casual.
It's been 10 years, but I still miss them so much. After my little brother disappeared, our mom got weaker every day, until depression and illness took her from us. My father and I were never close, so I left. And he turned our family manor into a hotel. It was probably his way of dealing with the loss. Harry, your father recently passed away from illness and left his hotel to you. It's now your job to check the building and welcome new guests. Private Solicitor Jay Walker. I haven't talked to my father since I left, but now I have no other option but to return home. The Manor of Sorrows. I have no intention on staying here longer than necessary. I'll just check the place out and get it ready for sale. The hotel is supposed to be empty. Who could be waiting for me?
Alright, what a depressing cinematic, or at least intro cinematic. So, both my little brother disappeared, my mother died back then, and supposedly my father just died of illness recently. So it looks like I'm a lonely child now. So, we made it inside the game. This is where the main part of the game takes place, and this is where the point and click adventure takes place as well. We're gonna traverse through various scenes, which we either need to unlock at some point, or basically just opens up once the story tells us something. I don't know. Depends on the game. And in this case, it's ask me if you would like to interactive help. You can always choose the special features. I find them quite buggy. Basically because it only tells you if there are some special features like collectibles, for example, or if you have special gadgets or something like that. That could be a camera or a special magnifying glass or whatever. And then it will tell you that. Basically, and basically everything else it will skip. But I always choose yes, simply because it covers everything. And in this case, since this is our first game, it will help me teach you how the game works. So let's just check yes. Examine different areas of interest. The cursor changes to a magnifying glass when hovering over such an area. Press on the area to zoom in. So as you can see, the main scene contains small areas around the place, which are indicated by these glowing stars. These areas, and also my cursor changes into a magnifying glass as stated, or in this case a cogwheel or a gear below my cursor. And these glinting starlight indicates a area that you can zoom in. I basically just call them small zoom zones because it basically describes what it does. It zooms on a given area. In this case, if I click the door on the car, I will venture it would take me to the front of the door or inside the car. But they will open up as small windows inside the main scene. So let's just click that and basically see what I mean. There we go. So we're inside the car, and now it wants me to take the letter. It will be added to your inventory. The cursor changes to a hand when items are available for pickup. As you can see, it changes to a hand. And I can pick up stuff. You earn the achievements, select the achievements pop-up or achievements icon to view it. There are those who simply love to collect achievement. I'm not one of them. I don't care one bit about these, so I'll just say okay to that. And as you can see, we got an item down inside our inventory. This inventory and the items that are put inside, we need to use inside other various zoom zones, or maybe outside in the main world, either to combine stuff, to open up for new locations, or to open up containers or whatever, and it will give us another stuff. So that's basically what the primary things in the point and click adventure feature basically contains. And we found a plus item. The plus symbol is lit when you can interact with these items. It's like the letter with half key to open it. Alright. So plus items What secret is he talking about? No, is that David Blackthorne? I better find the other half of the key and see for myself what happened to my old home. Alright. Leather with half key requires further interaction before you can use it. Yes. So these plus signs, as stated in the window, said that we need to combine some other stuff to complete these plus items. That is the reason I would assume it changes color, but now it is gray. And I assume that when we will find something that we can connect with this, it will turn whatever color associated with this game is. But that's basically how the plus signs work. Other times you might get a plus sign and you simply just have to open up, it could be a bag or a container of some sort, and you basically just open it and it will give you some items and it will disappear. Alright, so in this case it's a letter. I have to find the missing half of the key for the front door. Alright, so dear Harry, if you're reading this letter, I'm gone already. Our old manor is yours to run now. I didn't have enough time to reveal its secret. Find David Blackthorne. I believe that you can do it together. P.S. The other half of the key is hidden in our old place in the sunroom. Alright, so we need to find the other key, half of the key in the sunroom. I guess this is the sunroom over here. But as you can see...